Hey everybody, welcome to Doc's Autos. If you are returning, thank you, and hit that like button below. If you're new to the channel and like seeing videos of restoring old cars and fixing up newer cars, please hit that like button and subscribe below. You'll get all of our new notifications once we post new content. And that like button also helps YouTube know we've got great content over here. Today we are going to be working on a couple panels for the 52. We're outside, we've got the great horsies in front of us, beautiful evening, and the hood sections and the trunk. My aim is to try and get some sealer on here. They've been in bare metal for far too long, and I need to start getting things sealed up. So we've got our panels or our lids, whatever you want to call them, chunks of car, cleaned up. We've hit them with the spray away, get the any dirt and grime off of it, hit them with the air compressor, and except for one little spider who's been rehomed, we should be good to go. So we're going to wander up to the garage. I'm not going to paint up there tonight because it is hot and humid and sticky up there, no place to be painting. And we're going to try and give this outdoor environment a shot. Our breeze has pretty much gone down to nothing, as you can see over here on good old Glory. And go ahead and give our NASON DTM primer a shot out here. And knowing we're going to cover it up with a few coats of primer anyways, if I happen to get a little fleck of dust in there or something, I know it could always be remedied. Of course, don't plan to do any final painting out here, but hopefully if we can get some of the primer on and save the indoor stuff for when it's a little more cool and a little more pleasurable to be indoors. So let's go ahead and get our paint mixed up, or our primer, and we'll come right back. Alrighty gang, well I'm all suited up here with my mask. Finally good to be back on this mask versus a different one. And parts are cleaned and prepped, and you know what, we're doing the outside, we're doing the inside surfaces outside, so if this doesn't work out very well, I'm not putting a lot of effort into a finish job on, outside of a fender or a quarter panel or something. So go ahead and shoot our panels and see how it comes out. I'm out. I should have made more. I thought I was going to have more than enough to start doing the fronts, but I guess not. So I've only got a little bit left, so maybe I'm going to bring out the other window trim rings and do those as well. So we've got everything except the Challenger parts at least sealed with some primer so far. Now I want to get these done before I start working on the Challenger parts to kind of get my bearings out here if we do the painting outside. And I'm kind of doing these two projects in tandem in terms of bodywork paint, so I can kind of flow through everything a little more evenly in terms of work. So let me quick go mix up a little more paint. We'll get the trim rings and this done here, and hopefully that'll wrap it up for this part. I guess that was just about perfect. We had the other two trim rings to do. Of course, as you can see, I don't have enough material for that, but those need a little bit of cleaning up yet, and I don't have any more space. The other panels, the other trim rings are needing a holder panel rack to sit on. That's it. And even though I now have 7, I don't have any free ones. Par for the course, right? So we're gonna get our gun cleaned up and come back and just kind of check out how things look. Taking a look here, and so far, with the exception of one little bug that has made its way onto the one of the wheel skirts, it looks pretty good. Downside, getting this primer on here, I can see a few more blemishes that I did not see when I had all the paint knocked off. And you can see the little crease, ever so small, right in here, and there's one right in here. So I'm likely going to go back and correct those because in the right light, they are definitely more visible, like right here, than over here. So right there you can see it clear as day. So I'll probably go back and fix that up just because I should. The interior, the inside of the hood, not really concerned with because most of it's going to get recovered with this undercoating or whatever you want to call it. So I just wanted to make sure I primed up the areas I hit with the sandblaster. That looks good. This looks good. Another little bug over here seeking refuge. Too bad. And the trunk, the inside of the trunk looks actually pretty good. Maybe a little bit of a light spot over here. But you know what? This is just kind of a primer sealer. Or no, not primer sealer, direct to metal primer, because your standard primer does not always like to stick to bare metal. So we use this DTM primer as our step one before we put our 3 coats or however many coats of primer, whether it's high build primer or whatever, before we start putting that on. And really, I'm going to shoot primer, probably 2 coats on the inside of everything and call it good. Not going to worry about it because it's the inside of a trunk lid, the inside of a hood. Who cares? The window trim rings, those turned out pretty good. And I ran out of paint right here, or primer right here. So we'll, of course, hit these again. But I just want to make sure I got things covered up to be out here in the shop. We are getting into humid, hot seasons, which is why I've not been out here as much, because it's 90 degrees in the shop or 80 and humid and sunny out here. And it just does not bode well for working on cars. But we are making progress. All right, so I've got the paint gun cleaned out. Nothing special. It's a $25 Harbor Freight gun. They've got one for 20 bucks, but this one had the pressure regulator on it, so I don't have to run back and forth to the air compressor. You don't need a $400 paint gun. Trying to go the DIY style, something you can do with your own garage in your home. Granted, I've got a big shop. That's just because I've got a lot of other crap you can see behind me. But your average person working on a car in an extra bay, or a lean-to or something to work on, you've got the ability to do this stuff yourself. It takes time, takes a little bit of learning if you don't know this stuff, but it's certainly something you can do and on a budget. So that gets me back to the air compressor. That was given to me by my father on permanent loan, as well as the 20-gallon expansion tank, because he does not need it. And my little 5-gallon compressor, no way would it do anything. So far that has worked well for me for painting. Not so much for sandblasting, but that's what you do. The other important thing to have for painting is a mask. Now, I'm using the 2-part paint and primer, epoxy, sealer, whatever you want to call the stuff, since I can't figure it out myself. But I've got one of the 3M masks. It's the P or the R95 mask. Yes, the R95, which should be good or is listed to be good for paint products. So I've been using that. Sure, if I had an enclosed paint booth, I would love to have a fresh air respirator. Again, money I don't have right now. So we work with what we've got. And also being outside helps a lot for fresh air and not contaminating the garage that I'm trying to paint in. So another project will be the exhaust fans for the garage. So hopefully that will help when we come to paint the cars in their final color. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and bring everything back inside the shop here before we get condensation or dew on any of the panels we've just painted. And we'll come back later on, maybe this video, maybe another one, but we'll come back and paint the exterior sides of these panels and at least get them in that DTM primer as well. So stay tuned. Alrighty folks, we are back, and as we left off last time, we're going ahead getting some DTM primer on all these panels, and we found out on the wheel skirts that there is a couple spots right here, some very small creases, and I guess something I forgot to sand a little better. So I'm going to take care of that and put a little bit of glaze, that dolphin glaze, right on here and in here. Hopefully that'll take care of that area. Go ahead and sand it down, and then hopefully throw some more primer on everything here. So let's get that dolphin glaze mixed up. Alrighty, we've got our glaze mixed up here. It's in the 80s outside today, so see how much time we've got before it kicks on us. But we'll see what we can do. Pretty thin right now, but give it about 90 seconds and I bet it's going to be like molasses. Oof. That's just making a mess now. I've got a little stone or something in my board because it's making a mark and I don't like it. Ooh, this stuff is slippery today. There we go. That's why we've got our sanding tools, right? All right, I may be able to get this all on before it hardens up on me. Oop, we're just starting to set, so. Yep, I'm gonna leave that right there. And hopefully it comes out. I guess we'll see. Oh, there we go, it's hardened up, it's done for. Alrighty, so I've got that stuff on there. That's gonna cure. It was just hardening up, getting stringy, getting blotchy, and you don't really wanna work with it then. So better just to let it harden up, come back, sand it down, and do another coat of glaze if needed, and just work with it while it's still pliable and soft and runny. Once it gets chunky, it's just no fun to work with. So that's gonna cure up. And I also did just get in the mail today the tool for removing glass. So windshield, rear glass, so I can do that both in the 52 and the Challenger. But that's gonna at least allow me to get the glass out of the 52 right now, get it outside, finish stripping that down, find the last few dents. I know I have one by the rear tail light on each side to take out, and that's all I really know about that I've seen. Shouldn't be too much to fix there in terms of dents, but there are a couple of spots that are rusty that I do know I'll have to fix. One is above the wheel well on the passenger side. May actually be ripped a little bit, so that's gonna be some fabrication, and gonna take off all the sill plates still, and I know under there's a little bit of rust forming. So I'm gonna do that before I get everything else stripped down from paint, because, well, if it's gonna sit outside in this weather, it's gonna rust. So go ahead and keep that stuff exposed as little as possible, that bare metal anyways, and whatnot. So we'll go ahead and finish up this little area here on the wheel skirt, and then just dig into the rest of the car. Stay tuned. Alrighty, we have gone ahead and gotten some glaze on that wheel skirt, and it turned out pretty darn good. You can see, even though there was just a little crease right in here and right along here, you can see the amount of material it took to build it up and fill it in so it was nice and smooth. So there may still be a hair of a dimple in here. You can barely feel anything, but 2 coats of skim or glaze, and it came back to this. So who knows, we'll probably see a little more once it gets in primer. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and get everything cleaned up and come back in our next video and get everything else primed on the exterior surface, like the outside of the trunk and whatnot and the hood. We're gonna do that in the next video. Otherwise, we're gonna be looking at a really long video this segment. So, thanks again for following along. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember, we are posting content over on Facebook and Instagram before you ever see it here on YouTube. That's our little place to catch some sneak peeks of what's going on before we get a chance to edit everything down to a video for you. So until next time, keep doing what you enjoy doing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.